Hi, this is APS's teacher training on how to use Jamboard. The first part to using Jamboard is how to get started. There are 3 different ways you can access Jamboard. The first way is to go to your drive. Make sure you are logged in with your APS teacher credentials. You can go to the 9 little dots in the corner to see all your apps and scroll down till you get to the orange and yellow Jamboard app. You can also click on the New button here when you're logged into your drive. Click on More, and then open up a Jamboard from here. This will take you automatically to a new Jamboard. When you're opening a new Jamboard, make sure that you stay in Chrome. There is a Jamboard extension, but it's unnecessary to use the Jamboard app. I will be going over the differences in tools when you get the Jamboard extension. The last way to access Jamboard is to go to Google and type in jamboard.google.com. It'll take you to your Jamboard home where you've got all of your files, your Jam files. They'll all be listed in order of the last time you've opened them. Once you've opened up a blank Jam, it will look like this. There are several tools to pay attention to. Up here in the top right corner, you've got your settings button. You can rename your Jamboard here. You can also rename your Jamboard by clicking in the top corner there. It'll rename it in both places. In the settings, I'll go over those later. All of the different tools we've got a pen tool, an eraser, the select tool, sticky notes, adding images, adding shapes, adding text boxes, the laser pointer. On the top, you can undo or redo actions. You can zoom in. You can change the background. You can clear the frame. And here's how to add other frames to your Jamboard. So, since this is a virtual whiteboard tool, think about how to use this visually with students. I like to get started by adding an image. When you click on the Add Image button, it allows you to either upload an image from your computer, do a Google image search, add a photo that's been saved to your drive or your photos. If you do a Google image search, it searches for you right here. You can also copy and paste from the internet, but this is nice because it's integrated. You can organize by color. You can choose what type of picture to add. You just click on the picture and then click Select. The process would be the same for uploading from your computer or your drive. Once your image has been added, you can click and drag it to move it. You can click the corner to increase or decrease the size. You can rotate it with this button in the corner. Or you can click on the 3 dots here and either duplicate the picture or delete the picture. The next tool is the sticky note tool. When that pops up, there are a couple of choices you can choose for the background color of your sticky note. You can type the information you want on your sticky note here. And then as you click Save, it will add the sticky note to your Jamboard. Click Cancel to move out of the sticky note window. Just like with the image, you can click and drag it to move it. You can rotate it, and you can increase or decrease the size. When you have more than one thing on your Jamboard, the 3 little dots, you can click Order and choose to send one of the elements to the front or the back so you can make sure that they're in a easy to understand order. The next tool is the text box. Unlike the sticky note, it just opens up a generic text box. You can type what you want in there. You can increase and decrease the size of your text either by clicking on the corner here or by clicking where it says Normal and choose the size of your font that you want. When you're adding text, you can also change the color and the alignment of your text. You can add a shape to your Jamboard. If you click on the little arrow there, it changes the shape. And then you just click and drag and it will create the shape as you drag it out. You can always change the shape afterwards by clicking and dragging the corner or one of the sides. You can rotate anything on the frame. For shapes, you can change both the outline color and the fill color. The next tool is the pen tool. If you click on the little arrow, you've got pen, marker, highlighter, or paintbrush. They're fairly thin to use. You can change the color also. This works best with a touch screen or a phone with your finger or either a stylus. If you're using a mouse pad or a mouse, it's a little bit harder to use. So I would recommend a touch screen if at all possible. As you can see, you click on the screen and your text shows up as you write it. That actually looks pretty good. When you use the pen, it's much thinner. The eraser tool, again, works best if you've got a touch screen. It will not erase pictures, but you just kind of click and drag it and it will erase anything handwritten. So that's fun to use. The laser pointer button down here at the bottom works by clicking and dragging over your Jamboard, and the laser pointer follows you as you click and drag. So you do need to hold down your mouse to make that show up. You can change the background here. There's only a limited amount of choices of background. The black looks nice though. If you click clear frame, it deletes absolutely everything except for the background. You can also click the undo button to bring all of your stuff back. To add a new frame, you can click on the create frame button at the top here, and that automatically shows you that you are now on slide 2 of 2, frame 2 of 2. So you can add up to 20 frames to a Jamboard. Background that's fun to use is the squares, and then you could use the pen tool to show students how to do like a coordinate plane type thing, plot coordinates. So this one's kind of like a highlighter, but this would be fun to use. You could also add a picture of a graph or a number line. This would be a great tool to use with math classes and showing how to solve problems. All right, once you've got your frames, you can actually click on this frame thing here, and you can see all of the frames that are in your Jamboard. You can actually reorder them by clicking and dragging and move it to a new location. And you can click the plus buttons to add frames wherever the plus is, so in between the frames. And then you can see it kind of goes off the edge. You click the arrow to go from frame to frame, or click on the frame to go to that one in particular. When you're in settings now, in the top right corner, you can either download the entire Jamboard as a PDF. It'll show up as a multiple page PDF if you've got multiple slides, or you can save an individual frame as a image, and it shows up here for me in my downloads folder, and then I can copy it to the clipboard. So you would save an entire Jamboard as a PDF if, say, you worked out multiple math problems and you wanted to save all those for your students, or you could save individual frames if it's just a picture, one frame creates a picture that you wanted to save. You can also remove it, that deletes your entire Jamboard, or you can make a copy. Make a copy would be great if you're doing the same activity with multiple classes and want to make multiple Jamboards quickly. There's a couple of ways to share your Jamboard. You can share it with the share button at the top here and type in individual people's names, just like you can share a Google Doc or slideshow. When you do that, it gives you the option here to either have them as a viewer or an editor. If you want your students to be able to write on the Jamboard, they need to be editors here. It has the option to notify people, and then you can send them the Jamboard. On the share button, you can also get the link, copy the link at the bottom here. This would be a good link to post to your class page or your website. The third way you can share your Jamboard is to assign it as an assignment in Classroom. So when you go to your class page, you're going to create an assignment just like you would create any assignment. Go to the Classwork button, click on Create, click on Assignment. You're going to click on the paperclip to add. All of your Jamboards are saved to your Google Drive, so you're going to click on your Drive button to locate it. Mine shows up in Recent. You may have to search your Drive to find your Jamboard folder to find it if you haven't worked on it recently. I can see here these two pictures are identical. However, I know that this one is the actual Jamboard because it's got the J symbol in the corner here in orange. And this one says PNG, so that's the image that I created of just that slide. So I want to make sure that I insert the Jamboard. After I insert it, you want to make sure that students can edit the file so that they can all work on this together. One caveat here, and this is important, when people are collaborating on a Jamboard, it is always anonymous. There is no history button the way there is in a doc or slideshow. You have no way of knowing which student added which element to a Jamboard. So just use it with caution. Be aware that students will be anonymous when they use this. You still want to make sure that they can edit the file. If you created one for each student, made a copy for each student, you could do that, but it wouldn't be as collaborative as if you're choosing to edit it together. Then you would go through the rest of the process to assign it, and it will show up on your classroom as a Jamboard that they can all edit and access. Other ways that you can use Jamboard to collaborate is to use it to teach a lesson and use Screencastify to teach yourself working through a process. You can also pull it up when you're on a Google Meet to live teach to students how to do something using your Jamboard as your interactive whiteboard. So there's a lot of different ways to use Jamboard collaboratively with students in order to teach them different things in different ways. It is very open. There's a lot of creativity you could give to your students here. Students can use this from their phone. Students and teachers can both download the Jamboard application on their phones. That's a great way to give students choice in how they interact with the content and when they interact with the content. And since students are much more used to using a touchscreen phone than a touchscreen computer or tablet, that might give them more options to interact better and more clearly. The last thing I'm going to cover is how to get the Jamboard extension. If you go to the Chrome store and search for the Jamboard extension, it should look like this. You'll see that orange J again. Just make sure you download the extension. When students are on a Chromebook, they'll click on their apps launcher in the corner here, and then click on the Jamboard extension to open it. It'll show all of your Jamboards from your app as well as ones created on the extension. So when you're on the extension, there's a few tools that are different. On the side here, they've put all of the add elements buttons together in the plus sign. So you can insert a sticky note, an image. Those work the same as it does on the app. You can actually insert drive content. So if you click on this, you could navigate to your drive and insert a doc or slideshow or spreadsheet. The camera is a really cool feature. I could see using this to do get to know each other activities. The students can actually, or teachers, can actually use their built-in web camera to take a picture of themselves and add that automatically to their Jamboard frame. So that'd be a really cool way to do a get to know each other activity or take pictures of things around the house. Again, use with caution. The image library, those are images that you have saved that you would like to use again. And then stickers are basically emojis, so you can use those to decorate or add emoji to pictures or elements on the frame. Another tool that's different is underneath the pen tool. You actually have the assistive drawing tool here. When you click on that, what it does is it cleans up your handwriting for you. So if I click on the A here and I start writing a word, it automatically decides what you're trying to say and will change it into a clear font. Then you can take that box and change the size of it just like you would if you had typed it. So that'd be a really great way to show the students the steps in like a word problem or a math problem, and then clean up the handwriting so it's easier to see. You can use it to help you draw shapes. So if you just scribble a shape, it decides which one you're trying to draw and will clean it up for you. The last assistive drawing tool that's really fun is the drawing one. It predicts what you're trying to draw based on the shapes you draw. So it's coming up at the bottom there with what it thinks I'm trying to draw. So you don't even have to be an artist. As long as it's close, it's like, oh yeah, there's an elephant. And then it gives you choices at the bottom, and you can change your picture to one of those. So the assistive drawing tools are a fun way to get students engaged, fix up bad handwriting, because touchscreen handwriting is never as good as handwriting on a real whiteboard or real pencil and paper. So those are most of the fun things you can do with Google Jamboard. Thank you for your time.